Unfortunately, we don't have good examples of polygamous men in America. Brother Polite and Nature Boy. I mean, I don't know anywhere where there are examples, good examples of polygamous men. And oftentimes, see, I could do a whole video on the history of polygamy, right? Because it's not polygamy was invented as a tool for women to be able to be taken care of as a result of war, right? It wasn't because men felt like they should have all these wives. So mostly, even in Africa, this was practiced by Muslims. So there was huge parts of Africa where polygamy existed because there were Muslim influence. If you go back in the Quran, that's the reason why there are rules to this. You have to ask your wife if it is okay to bring on another wife. This was originally so when women's husbands went to war and they passed away or they were unalive. You would have a man who was wealthy enough to take that woman up under his estate. She would be taken care of. Now, of course, yes, they was probably going and sleeping with these women, but it was more about economics, and these men had to get permissions. Even in Africa, the men had to go to the elders and get that type of relationship approved. And you had to be able to prove that you could provide for those women. So you have these men who don't know the history, don't understand the purpose of it, and that the purpose of it was to benefit the women, not so you could have 3 or 4 wives and y'all be in the same house splitting the bills. No, these women had their own households. So polygamy is supposed to financially benefit all women involved. So when you start talking about doing polygamy that way, then a lot of times these men, they don't want any parts of it because it comes with a huge responsibility. It's not for a man to be able to have multiple women that he can sleep with. That was not the original purpose of it. And now in this modern society, there's really no need for it in the vast majority of cases because we have rights now. We take care of ourselves. Men are not going off to war and being unalived at the rate that they used to. So, back then in Africa, people, and even in the Arab world, there were so many wars and tribes warring. We practice Timu polygamy over here. What is that? You have to explain that to me. Oh, Team U. Yes, it's like it's ghetto when polygamy is a rich man's sport. And if you don't have the money, polygamy shouldn't leave your mouth. You have bigger fish to fry. And again, that's not to try to put down men who can't afford to take care of women at all. I'm just saying, if you already know that you're not at a certain economic status, then like let's not even like stop playing with it. Stop playing with it. Because eventually those women are either going to leave you. Another thing that happens, and people don't talk about this, but another thing that happens in a lot of those polygamous relationships that I've seen in real life, the women get together, especially if the man is broken, don't have anything going on. Those women, because the women start messing with each other, they get together. When you gone, they talking about you like a dog. They talking about you, and eventually they both leave. Or you know what I'm saying? I've seen that happen in real life. The women leave, and then the women stop dealing with each other because it was like we was only really fooling with each other because this man wanted us to fool each other. But I've seen so many times where you would have a man and a woman being together. They decided they wanted to bring somebody else into the relationship, and not too long after that, the entire relationship dissolves because the women get together and commiserate about the men. Hey guys, y'all get the likes up. I'm sorry. How do you feel about women who have multiple men in a brother husband situation? You mean like women who have like are messing with two brothers? I think it's trifling. What? Okay, because like you got to think about it like this. What if you get pregnant and have kids by both of the brothers. Like that whole family entanglement is just going to be so weird. I don't agree with it. I think also you're putting, as a woman, you're putting yourself at risk dealing with one man. Okay. Especially if he has a proclivity to step out, then you're trying to satisfy two men and then try to make sure that they faithful, that they're not stepping out with all these other women. I think you, as a woman, you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation. You have to deal with two men's different personalities, attitudes, needs, wants, and desires. So I'm like, I'm equal when it comes to that. Right? Don't talk about me. I make average income. Just kidding. Not, hey, the majority of people make average income. I'm not knocking it, because at the end of the day, it comes down to priorities. Like there are some people who we want what we want, right? And a lot of people are living a lifestyle that they don't want because social media is pressuring them to. But if, as a human being, you feel like you make enough money to be happy and you're good with where you're at, I don't feel like you should go try to make any more money just to satisfy the masses. With that said, you're going to have to date realistically for where you're at. LOL, no, you know the term sister wives, the same thing, just for men, not literal brothers. Okay. Yeah, I still wouldn't, I wouldn't play with that as a woman. Because then you got to think about it. Even when you're with one man, our bodies are sensitive, they're delicate. You know, your boyfriend could throw your pH balance off. Now you got two men, and then you could use protection with both. But then, like, there are certain diseases that don't help, like herpes. So I don't know. I personally, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I feel like if you are a woman and you're going to do it, please don't be taking care of both of their men. At least let it be some type of benefit.